Oh, the rock and roll medicine show that does just that. Gets you back to that garden and then some, don't you know? Here on the Coyote Medicine Show, your morning wake-up call and so much more. Here on the Hazy Radio Network, worldwide at hazyradio.com, man. We got it on. And now so do you, babies. Ooh, we are stardust, we are golden, and we are turning into butterflies in the sky because we don't bomb one another. We just fly. And be colorful about it too, man. Yeah. Boy, I'm thinking about that old monarch migration that used to go on out here in the West. There'd be like about 10 billion butterflies, man. All these orange and black wings just fluttering in great big clouds, making their way from somewhere down there along the Baja to somewhere way up there in Canada, beyond Montana somewhere, you know, up through, Southern California, Southern Nevada, edge of Arizona, a little bit of Utah there up into Wyoming and through Montana and all the way up into wherever they went above there, up there, but it's not BC. What is that there? I can't remember which province that is. Alberta, I think, yeah. But anyway, that's where they wind up. No, Alberta's further east than that. What is that one right there? Shit. Oh, I'm losing my Canadian geography. Help me out here, man. What is that one? Right next to BC is where Calgary is. Alberta. Yeah, it is Alberta. Okay, cool. I got it in my head now. Back again. So all the way up into Alberta, these butterflies go. To about 10 billion of them start out. Now, I've witnessed this in my trucking back and forth across the country here, you know. So I've watched this migration happen on several occasions. I'll usually run into it down in California somewhere on my way out of there. And then a week later, I'll be coming back through Nevada or something, and there they'll be there. Week later, I'm up in Wyoming, and there they'll be there. Oh, a couple weeks later, I'm up in northern Montana, and there they'll be there. And they made it, you know, that far. And I don't get to go up into Canada and follow them any further, but that was the zigzag attack of the great monarch butterfly. But it just reminds me of how glorious nature is and of how determined. When she sets her heart in a certain direction, a tribe of butterflies decide it's time to go north for the summer. Well, son of a gun, it happens. Fluttery, delicate little butterflies that you didn't think could make a mile without being blown apart by the wind. And imagine these things flying through places like Wyoming and Montana where the wind is so severe. I mean, it's not uncommon to see 70, 80 mile an hour winds out there across the sagebrush. Gusty, too, on top of all that. But, you know, an average of 30 mile an hour out there all the doggone time, pretty much. It does calm down every now and then, but not very often. It's the top of the continental shelf, so it has a lot of that powerful wind from the oceans blowing over the top of it. So that's part of what makes Wyoming so darn cold. But they say it like snows up in Montana and just blows into Wyoming. Never snows there, it just blows in, you know. Then it blows down to Colorado, man. It becomes snow again, you know. Skiers got to be happy, you know. Oh my goodness, what a magical journey that was, watching those butterflies make that. And I'm always so impressed with nature, you know. She has reached out and embraced my heart so many times, you know, that I look past any brutality that it was ever expressed there, because I see the innocence in it, you know. And while it's difficult for me to even conceive of a violent thing, I can accept what I saw there until now, you know. This talk about the lamb and the lion and all that shit, well, yeah, that's metaphorical about nations and tribes, you see. Mother Earth woke up one morning after having this beautiful dream, you know, and conveying it into the hippie children of the 60s, and said to herself, you know what, nature's going to take control now, you know, and we're naturally going to flow this awakening heart into the reality of her ever-loving presence, because it's time. I want my children back. I've had enough of letting them playing in the sandbox. I mean, they've hurt each other so many times. Now it's time we let it go of the retardation, bring them back into their creation, help them be, again, the divine baby instruments of love that they are. And she, you know, when Mama says she wants her kids back, well, Mama gets her kids back. You understand? What do you think divorce court's all about? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cast aspersions. I know there's been a lot of ugliness expressed in these family divisions here in the U.S. of A. especially, because divorce has been more common than a toothache these days, myself included. I can't accept it. Wish I could, but, until you're ready for the ripeness in your life, you ain't ripening, and so you're just still ripening yourself up. So sometimes you need a little heat, little friction to keep that ripening process growing. Yeah, but that's what they created divorce for. A friend was telling me yesterday, says, well, I think what we should do is when you get married, you get divorced at the same time. Just, cut out all the inner fluff and cut the attorneys and the courts out of their substance and shit and let them go work or do something fun for a change, instead of victimizing people in the name of morality. Oh, holy cow. No wonder this place is so phony, man, because it's based on a model like that, The attorneys are idealized here. Yeah, right. Here, I got an ideal for you, attorneys. 100 of them at the bottom of the seat. No, I'm kidding. Then again, we're unraveling all that. We don't have to crab at the power brokers. I mean, they couldn't help themselves. And it's not all attorneys. God, there actually are. I actually have met some folks that were pretty decent people that could still work in that messy old system somehow. But you got to understand, across this nation, it's crooked as hell. And it's corrupt as the last nightmare you had. I mean, it's just crazy corrupt, I mean, I've known people that were... well, God, yeah, they were friends, but they were total ass killers. Dangerous, dangerous people. You didn't want them on the street. But anytime they get in trouble, somebody would request a little briefcase full of cash of a certain amount, and that would take care of the difficulty, and there would be a dismissal of the charges every time. So here's a dangerous being out here roaming around, and who knows how many casualties may have been created by him. You just don't know. You can read the energy of it, and you know exactly if you want to, but in the normal reality where everybody's asleep, you just don't know. But if you can be loving even to a character like that, you can put a stop to those murderous intentions forever. It's like marrying yourself to Lucifer or something like that in a way, but it's not embracing all the evil darkness, because that's the illusion. It's seeing the love inside of the evil darkness. It is bright as the sun. It's just clouded over by a whole lot of density. And that's what made it look dark. Black. Black, some people say, is the absence of color. It's the full combination of all color. And it's just densified into that black nature, It's just all of the color. It's just a densified form of it, you see. So if you can see past the chicanery of this great boogeyman, whatever the name may be, who cares? It's not important, because it ain't one character. It's an attitude. It's an energy. It's a misapplication of life in a way, but it's also a teacher, a trainer, and a guide given in a very harsh way, you see. It's an activity of love. It's given in innocence the same as you are, whether you know it or not. So no matter the influence that may or may not have been practiced over you and within you by this certain influence, because often the polarity outside replicates it inside, doesn't it? So we've all lived this one way or another. We've all formatted ourselves as divided beings, man. Don't know one side from the other, yet we look in the mirror and it's all together, and we wonder, how does this happen? How can it be a singular presence and so divided inside, man? Some people have 16,000 voices speaking to them all at the same time. They haven't quite figured out how to understand the language, let alone the voices. It drives them berserk. But that's another avenue, another aspect of influence from the external, you see. People deal with mental illness in this reality as if it's some defect inside of the person. Well, sometimes there's physical causes in a way. But the reality is, those physical causes allow the presence of an external energy to be far more influential there than it would otherwise, There are energies that are created to create agonies, and they live in people like that, poor things. But at the same time, you got to understand, they're challenging the endurance of their heart to the maximum. They're taking on as much of a load as they possibly can. These are some real heavy-duty players, because they do this lifetime after lifetime. It's the same players doing it, believe it or not. But they take on a heavy, heavy load to see how much they can handle. And each time it gets a little denser. Each time it gets a little deeper, because they needed to go into that existence that has so far separated itself from the heart in the presence of creation that it could become that presence and bring it back to life, help it become present again. You see? And in the process, create some strength in the loving heart that's so incredibly durable that creation just benefits and blossoms because of it. You see? The activities and events of a singular moment, a singular being, is often that influential here. So babies, keep that in mind as you go through your day on this terrific Tuesday. And be sure that you play it from the heart as much as you possibly can. Live in it always, if that state will exist for you. And if not, just keep letting it happen. If your mind just likes to wander and worry, well, you got to retrain it a bit. You got to be a little patient with yourself. You got to sit down or fall down. Just get out in nature, whatever. But get yourself in tune with yourself. So you can start getting this act back together, that we provide the energy of awakening awareness. That's the key to your heart. The rest is up to you to allow yourself to be that which you know yourself to be in the deeper parts of this reality of yourself, the person. See, there is a reality, and it's the love in motion. Even in a holographic reality, this is truth. Just like there's life in a dead piece of film making a movie because of all the people that put into that performance, all the musicians and technicians and the actors and actresses and directors and producers, and especially the editors to get it all put together and make it just right. I mean, it's that energy exists in that work of art, and always will, the same way our energy exists in the work of art in which we've lived in, that we call life. It's the grandest performance ever given. And I hope you can appreciate that in you on this terrific Tuesday. That you can understand life from that aspect of being, that presence of love that would allow you to suffer through hell in order to really embrace your paradise. And in the process, prove to yourself the reality of the love that never lets go, that allows you to take yourself stretch yourself to the extreme, where your presence could be, wow, just obliterated, turned back into raw energy, But the intelligence can't be killed. The experience is always there. You see, what we've created is, so see, you really can't even obliterate yourself. That was the illusion, but that was also the test. Can you get through the fear of obliteration, of being even more separate from reality than you are now? The feeling of death. As most people think of it, you see. Some people understand beyond that concept already. So I'm talking about the general population that believes of death as an end of something and a separation and a dark thing that shouldn't be indulged in, Well, somewhere in a warped and really deeply ironic way, that represents the truth in a way, because you shouldn't practice death like that, ever. In fact, death is the illusion. See, this morning we started out talking about don't fear the reaper. Turn the page, This is exactly what we face as a human collective. There are those who perceive of death as something negative and dark and ugly as hell, because you'll never see those people again. Inside that, it's messy, it's ugly, etc., in some people's opinion, And that's the generally held view here. People fear death. See, not understanding the real truth about this death and about your birth as well, really. It goes both ways, You see through one, you've already lived through the other, and you literally are born again in a sense, in the sense that your perspective arises to that place where we always exist, that place before we project ourselves in here as babies, and that place to which we seem to return when we go through that old process we call death. It seemed like our energy came in and out. Well, it did. It's like a video game. You put your energy into it for a while and then you take a break. And that's birth and death. Getting into the game and playing it until you're tired of it, and or you get hungry or whatever, and then you got to go do something else. So you bring yourself back. Only now, each time we've stepped in here, we brought a little more of our presence from there in here. So now in here becomes there, and there becomes in here. You see, we finally have learned to realize ourselves in the full presence of the dream that we are, the mother's dream. You see, she allowed us to manipulate, influence it, do it how we wanted to do it. That's the configuration we call time. That's our experience in time. Babies in the playpen, and we were managed and supervised greatly. You see, greatly. How else would we ever have got through such moments? I'm living proof of the nature of the miraculous in this life myself, just because of my Mr. Magooism, my innocent little boy that can go through so many of life's crazy torments and challenges and never die. Just keep transforming it. I mean, intuitively, just automatically, Before I even became fully aware that that's what I was doing. I just thought that was normal life. I never thought about death in the sense that it could really grab me, I always thought about it in the sense of, like, wow, what's it hanging around for now? But it doesn't want nothing to do with me. I knew that. Though I can't say I never had an obsession with death. I think everybody goes through moments like that. It's part of perfecting our activity here. It's part of waking up, And when we realize, especially, that we are in constant communication, or at least occasionally, as the case may be for you, communication with those who have, quote, quote, gone on before us and crossed that rainbow bridge. When you realize, that, sometimes you'll even realize the full presence of the person standing right beside you that you thought you let go of a long time ago through the process of death. There's the living proof right there that death is an illusion, that anyone separates from anything. You see, death is a transition, a return to our full presence of life. So at this stage of the game, because we've gone through all the levels of it, and we're at the highest levels, and there ain't no more game to play, we bring ourselves back home. So we had a great time with the game. So now we accept the reward of it. Pair A dice, which is what we've been living in all the time, only we didn't always see it as that, did we? We're starting to now. It's the dawn of a new day. Inside of you, inside of myself, and all the critters that live, the birds and animals included, everything. It's the dawn of a new day, the awakening of a new cycle of season, a return to the natural nature of creation where no one lives in need or want or of empty desire of any sort. All the war patient here given because of those empty desires dissolving away in the process of the loving heart seeing through it. So whatever attitudes you held towards life, however the bitterness has taken you, man, it's time to renew your acquaintance with that and see what's really there. See, you've made some powerful judgments on yourself and therefore on others too, And you've condemned whole species, you've condemned whole genders, etc. because of the activities in your life, because of a few present people that were far more defective than you thought they were, etc. You see, attitudes are ingratitudes. Doesn't mean you have to take shit from anybody. But you can be loving enough to tell the difference. When somebody's dishing it out, you just get out of the way, one way or the other, however it happens, But you just depart, exit stage left. Remember that it's still an innocent activity. It's just something you ain't going to tolerate, For example, in recent times, I had a friend stop by that's a traveler and a real decent and loving and kind person, but who has some rather aggravating habits. And that is to try and uses a certain amount of manipulation and trickery to get people to see her as a little grander presence than she would be otherwise, and to accept her kind of medicine as the mojo of life. Kind of strange, you know. It was a bit egoic, but based on the heart, you know. And I'm not making any judgments here. I'm just describing it as I experienced it, you see. So, you know, I had to draw a little line about that kind of stuff. You can't do this with my friends, thank you very much, you know. But see, this is the way we've lived. We've dealt with ourselves from a point of separation, and therefore we've had to find something to fill the sense of division, the sense of unlife. We had to put some life in it in one form or another. And oftentimes that got us off in power trips. We might not even have known it, you know. And innocently so, we go into power trips like that and start practicing stuff with other people that maybe we've gone out and studied and trained ourselves in. Maybe it just happens because we're gifted or something. But doing it in kind of a dark way, you know. But it happens. And it's completely innocent activity when it does, but at the same time, you know, it's not something I'm going to tolerate in my presence, you know, because my heart says not to. But if there was some reason I had to let this person indulge that, so maybe so it'd backfire on them or something, then I would do that too. See, every little situation is a little different, and the only way you know which way the stream flows is to be in it. To be living in the creation, be consciously present in it. And how is that? Be present of the love flowing through you that becomes the creation around you. Give yourself the time, the energy, the space. Especially out in nature. Because nature's retraining herself as well as us. As this old movie, this old video game winds to a conclusion. And boy, the party's on at our place, ain't it, kids? Yes, indeedy, all across the face of this earth, a glorious and grand celebration. As the people you thought could never recover, wake up, and gigantically so. You know, each and every heart and soul on this earth, no matter how obscure or unpresent in the physical form of a human person, now awakens, comes back to life, each in its own way, in its own stage of the day. But it happens. You see, the turn is in this direction because that is what the heart of the collective has determined for us now. The lessons are over. Like good old Alice Cooper yesterday, man. School's out forever. We've learned our lessons here. We transitioned the darkest, most incredibly horrifying energies ever created anywhere. And in the process, we've added feeling to the element of creation in a deeper and more expansive way than it ever could have been before. And life appreciates itself enough now to bring all of its molecules and atoms together. So there is no sense of division or separation any longer, no time or space. And all the galaxies and universes become the glowing essential ball of love, fulfilled in complete purpose, embraced in all of it in the mother's love. All of it, together, as a singular presence, personally expressed in all of these different forms of reality that aren't so spatial after all. What do you think these little wormholes and shit are through time that, you know, supposedly these spaceships bounce through? That's the presence of non-time. See, it's proof of the video game right there, the video game effect right there. It's proof that there is a reality beyond this one that's bigger than we are, and that really dictates the expressions here from a very loving standpoint. And it's also proof that the veils are thinning, and that we're starting to see such things even from a scientific way, let alone witness it in a personal way. And many of you will be given this opportunity, if you haven't been already, to experience the transition from time to timeless. And the choice will be yours. Do you want to remain here, or do you want to be timeless? And of course, that choice is already made in your heart, you know. So here you go, baby. See, it's just following the flow. Let go of the illusion, then, of this free will nature that's so wild and woolly. You can accept the wild nature of it, yes. But at the same time, let go of the idea that there's any choice, because you've already been choosing all along. And it's a flow. and it leads in a constant direction. And when you look back on your life, you can see what's ahead. You can see where that flow takes you. Because what's ahead is right now, created in this moment. The power of love, the power of the heart, the universal love, nurtured and encouraged by the grandmother in all, the mother of love, made of love, the same essential light that is the source essence in everything. Great Spirit and then some, creating through the mother love all that we live in and all the experience of it. You're beginning to awaken to that truthful presence now. You're beginning to see what the eagle represents, what the life represents, who you are in it. Who made who indeed. Thank you to the who for who made who. Who made you? Who made me? Who set us free? You. That's who. It's all us. Each and every one of us as the divine creation, the creator presence in creation, you see. The appreciative, nurturing love. Give yourself a little time to let that flow in. You'll gain some understanding. Meantime, here's Dawn Wells, the little Idaho girl who made good on Gilligan's Islands and did show that ginger up continually. Ooh, one of the sexiest mother truckers on the face of the earth, born and raised in an Idaho potato farm, Dawn Wells, or better known as Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island from way back in the way back when. Ooh, babies, take it away. Donnie, baby!
Take me. I'm more like the girl who lives next door.
There, now I got it wired right. Boy, I tell you guys, I have to watch myself here, man. I got so much going on. Sometimes I get my own wires crossed and I push the wrong button at the wrong time, or flip it over the wrong way, or leave it on the auto play, and so it just picks up the next song. I do that when I have to step away. And sometimes when I step back, I forget to shut it off, so I get jammed over on the top there. But I blame it on anxious performers coming out of our green room here, man. They just can't wait for their turn, man. You know, they got to be here because everybody wants to perform on the Coyote Medicine Show. And by the way, if you're a musician or you know some that are kind of an innovative way but still got the rock and roll soul in their heart, babies, send me a little bit of their living work of art, some MP3s, and I'll review them if I like them. They'll get some airtime here, babies. You know how it is. We try to vary and keep it changed up all the time, and goodness gracious, some of these songs just so divine, we can't help but be repeating them, especially the Turn Up the Radio one. I'm sorry, guys. Man, you're likely to hear that every day as we get the Coyote Medicine Show underway. Nah, it's been a while since I played it, so I thought I could get away with it today, man. I love that song, I truthfully do, especially being the universal DJ here in the DJ way, with your morning wake-up call, the Coyote Medicine Show, which is so much more than just a little medicine show, yet just a humble, happy little heart here at 9,000 feet high, wanting to take off and fly and be with y'all, don't you know? I mean, right now, and how? I don't want to wait around. You know, waiting is like a time thing. We should step outside of time and be right now, right where we want to be, don't you see? That's how we set ourselves free as another element of it. When you realize yourself into the portability of your love, you know, I mean, that's the beginning. Your presence will follow shortly, you know? But when you share the essence of your personal love with that of a heart of another, a receptive heart of another. Now, don't go forcing yourself in somewhere. Idiots. Oh, I love you for it. You know, we're such bunny rabbits. We can't help ourselves sometimes, but we're learning. We're coming out of that old shit, that hypnosis, that conditioning that made us so desperate, especially as men, as to get us diverted as we have and to be so, you know what, crazy. Well, guys, you know, it's liberation time, and that's the first of the liberations. Because if you can lose that, you've lost all your violence and all your pain. All of you. And the women have too. By a gift to you, see. It's a shared thing always. It's not just you as a male presence and her as a female presence. It's you as the presence. The one presence expressed in male and female. It's the triality, don't you see? It's not duality. And in the triality is the secret of love, of life for everlasting, happily so. Zippity-doo-dah, and away we go. Yeah, indeed. That's what we share day in and day out here, Monday through Friday on the Coyote Medicine Show, don't you know? Only and exclusively on the lovin', hazy radio network, lovin'est network you ever found. If you don't believe me, stick around. We got a lot more medicine after Coyote's Medicine Show, don't you know? Yeah, I'll be completing the live and spontaneous portion of it here in just a few minutes, but you want to stay tuned after that here for a repetitious effort of the Coyote Medicine Show as we replay something from last July, wouldn't you say? Just to see, you can see the progress we've made, if nothing else. What I also notice, because I'll hear it every now and then, I keep it kind of turned down while I'm doing other things, but anyway, an amazing synchronicity between shows and days of the week and stuff, It's kind of interesting. The characteristics of the Coyote Medicine Show kind of reflect the larger characteristics of humanity in a kind of a synchronistic sort of way. And that's why we do a little replay each and every day, so you can kind of notice what's really underway here, Take a look beyond what's been visible and see what's real, man. See? Ooh. When the image begins to dissolve away, the hearts come home to stay. And babies, it can't help but grow, and wow. Just let us live in that flow and be the life we always wanted to be, because that's the life we are. We found the completion of the long journey from Baja as the Butterfly Tribe all the way up in there to Calgary, man. And now we get to reside in the Rocky Mountain High forevermore, beneath the blessings of the Northern Lights. Ooh, land of the midnight sun. Well, not quite there. It's not quite there. It's not far enough north. But oh, it's spectacular country, high energy, charged. Because you live surrounded by the crystalline love of the mighty mountains, which are really, of course, something more than, even grander than what they appear to be, and I hesitate to describe it to you, because I let you see, I let it be. We create it in our heart through this love that we share. Here, sitting in my old divine rocking chair here at the Spaceship Love Studio 420, got Grandpaw Coyote, man. Got his foot on the floor. Yeah, I got mashed the gas, man. I got her in high, man. I got her in overdrive, man. Because I really love going fast, because then you can feel that you're alive, That's what I always looked for in my life, was that edge that would prove my living, and make me appreciate it a little more so I could get on with it. Sometimes you tend to get stuck. A comfortable feeling comes, a soft spot, and you're tempted to be just like everybody else and just settle into it and be the happy little house husband that you are. Oh, no. Oh no, oh no. Reality and the angels and everybody else. You get lazy like that, you start to have images like that in your little heart and your little mind and soul as you went through that experiential realm. Talking about my own experience, but it's on the larger sense, it's all of us. But you get like that, and you're an enchanted and spiritual being that's here to fulfill a little larger purpose than being a house husband. Guess what? You ain't gonna house husband nothing. She'll divorce you if nothing else. I mean, you won't believe how fast it'll change just to get you out of that mindset. Knock you on your ass and get you going again, man. I mean, that's angels will do that, I mean, we need that every now and then, If it's going too easily, we get kind of like, stuck in places like that. So they'll just come and say, oh, no, you don't. Down you go and back up you come and say, wow, that was a dose of medicine. I like that, man. Whew, let's get on with it. Let that one go. Ooh, that's hypnosis too. It really is. See, that image is a shared image. That happy little house that's surrounded by a nice, well, let's just say white picket fence for the tradition of it. I know it's not like that now. Now you got to have a privacy fence 14 feet tall. But the happy little harbor of love, a little 2-bedroom box-built house with a green patch of lawn around it and some sheep to mow it down for you so you don't have to get out there with that gassy, stinky damn thing and take up your Saturday trying to cut off your fingers and toes. Oh, See, this is the vision everybody knows, but it is. And everybody has a variety of it. Mine is a nice little 2-room log cabin up in the mountains with a really sweet loft that has sky windows in it. You can see all of the sky, man. So it's up towards the top of the ridge, not down at the bottom, man. That's my little picket fence reality. I don't know what form yours takes. It might be a teepee out there on the desert or the plains, surrounded by buffalo. That might be yours, Everybody has their own variety of it, But everybody has that hypnotic suggestion of a place where you can just go lose yourself and be comfortable and secure for the rest of forever. In this reality, it's not a possibility. It doesn't work. If anything, it kills you. It stagnates you just like it does the water. When the water sits still, it begins its death process, so it can refertilize the life and begin it again. You see? It's nature taking its course. And we follow those natural courses ourselves. And if we fall for that widely held suggestion, hypnotically implanted in somebody innocently way in the way back when, but look what it became. That widely implanted suggestion that that's home hard and that's where you ought to be, wow. It's amazing we get through these things. It's amazing we can even see past it because it's that strong of a suggestion. And people try to live it out and enslave themselves to 40-year mortgages that they'll never be able to pay off, that grow faster, the interest grows faster than the principal shrinks. I mean, it's just insane. But it's also, abject slavery. Perfectly applied, it's genius, it's sheer brilliance if you want to enslave a people and control creation. And so you give people this vision, and along with it you give them the alternative, the stick and carrot thing, man, This is your paradise, But the reality is that dream, and that's why it sticks, that they try to fixate you on the home presence you're going to pay for forever. Well, that represents something a little broader in the sense of us fulfilling our divine purpose and of the true dream that we hold. There is a presence of home. And we have felt separate from it. We've been the prodigal children of life, running around just doing all kinds of crazy stunts to ourselves and others, and just insanely stupid in the process, it seems. Yet there's a design of brilliance in it. I mean, every little element of creation that needed fulfillment, in that creation needed, some reintegration, some little minor tune-up along the way. We lived through those experiences. We lived to tell about it. And it was healed. It was fixed. See, it's all about our anomalies in creation. Got to remember, we're innocent kids, so we can create anomalies in creation, and then we can go fix them. Because we're kids, because we're skilled and gifted little workers of the heart. The great light of love the heart's made out of. The golden light of love from which the rainbow creation comes forward. Oh, babies, do you love that one? I do. I got to get somebody to do me a rockin' song. Maybe I'll get Merlin Elliott to do. We play him on here every now and then. Really good indie. But anyway, we'll get somebody like that to do a little song like that. Yeah, I think we should, don't you? Meanwhile, let's proceed along the highway of life here with John Fogerty, who helps us finish up today's Coyote Medicine Show in that Coyote way. Only on the Hazy Radio Network, babies. Your morning wake-up call and so much more. With Grandpa Coyote at the helm, you betcha. Sometimes mistakenly called Captain Coyote. I assume no authority, especially militarily, over anything or anyone, okay? So it's a wry little joke when somebody calls me Captain Coyote, myself included. Captain Coyote at your service, baby. Settle back, relax, and enjoy the flight for the next 2 hours as you get to finish up this show and listen to the repeat of another. And oh my goodness, does life get better than this? Well, let us hope so. I mean, it's a good place to start, okay? Hey, we be underway. See you again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Central, 4 a.m. there in the Pacific. And I understand now it's only 6 hours difference to England, so that's 11 a.m. over there. So, babies, be here or be square. And if you want to be square, just remember, we're still around and we're taking off those edges anyway. Okay? Hey, and Dick Cheney, we love you, man. Big hug for you, you little cherub.
We are stars.